Linda said, I am the digital marketing director. This is the second time I've been working on Susan's campaign, so I'm really excited to be here and to be in this round again, and working with her and getting to meet new people. So I am just really glad at the amount of people who show up tonight. So like Linda said, we have a night full of entertainment and food, and we have a program for you guys too. So thank you for being here. Tonight, I want to introduce our first speaker, and our first speaker here, he is a part of our campaign as well. Cece Goya, he's also the campaign director. So, Susan.
Thank you. My name is Cece Goya. I am the political director for Susan Parr's campaign. I know you read out there my bio. I am a local high school math teacher, nothing fun about that. But I inspire the future. That's what I do. And that's the reason I am supporting Susan Parr, because I see her doing that work, trying to make sure she inspires the future. Because America's independence, continuous independence, depends on us having a youth workforce, a strong workforce that depends on an educated workforce. And so that's why I'm supporting somebody who is going to work hard and tirelessly to make sure that schools are fully funded and that our kids go back to school and make school what school is supposed to be again. I have a singular purpose in life, and that purpose is to always make sure that I'm training tomorrow's leaders in the classroom. And so it is an honor to be asked to serve on a campaign that works for that singular purpose, that ensures that everybody, no matter how you look or how you talk or what power you think you have access to her. So it is an honor to be a member of this campaign. It is definitely a pleasure to be here to speak about Susan Parr. And so one of the works that I do in my the many hats that I wear is I'm a Liberian American. A very proud Liberian American, and a very engaged Liberian American. I keep focusing on that because this is Brooklyn Park. We have a lot of Liberians in Brooklyn Park. And Susan Parr has done a lot of work, not just for Liberians, but the work she did about this hall, making this hall accessible to everybody, making sure that you can bring your food and your culture can be seen here. Bless my community, my Liberian community. There's been so many other things she's done for other communities that she doesn't belong to, but she sees herself as a leader. I'm saying this because I'm going to introduce to you the executive director of the organization of Liberians in Minnesota. The organization that represents all 40,000 plus Liberians in the state of Minnesota. Kamati Dian, who's here, is going to say what he knows about Susan and her grit and her fight. Kamati.
Good evening. Well, I get a little jealous when you pump me and say you're the leader. No, I'm not a leader. I'm just a settler. Liberian community. Say, one of the things that interests us as community members is when we have people that share our common values, people that are there with us. And one of our experiences we've had is that during the pandemic, as challenging as it was, it disproportionately impacted our community. And like many other communities, people were all there looking for resources and help. And one of the things our communities were looking at is retraining people to get back in the workforce and be able to provide food, shelter for their community members. And those, one of our interaction with Susan Parr as a community person and a member of the minority community was her energy and zeal to want to help the community members. We were seeking funding to retrain people to be CNA and TMA to get back in the workforce. And then I can remember during the ADM meeting when we had a lot of tough questions and people were doubting the credibility. I just saw screaming like, why do you people always question the minority community when seeking help? When mainstream people come in, it just passed through. I'm like, okay, I like to hear that. I want to hear more of that. But what I'm trying to say is that she gave us the support that we needed then. And after that, she stopped there when we were trying to acquire our community center to extend it. She was graceful enough to give her the check. When I called her, I'm like, will you come and support us? She's like, my schedule is tight, but I can give you guys a check. I said, oh, that sounds good. I'm like, I'll take that. Yeah, and then she didn't want us to tell anybody how much she gave us, but it was a substantial amount. But what I'm trying to grab at is that the little things that people do that impact a lot of people, it's always good to be able to realize that and say, oh, like, you know what? This person was there. I'm not a politician. I'm not doing anything, but all I'm just saying here today is that the interaction with the person, Susan Park, is all I'm letting you know. And we appreciate her engagement and support to our community. And when I get a call to say come over here, I'm like, oh, I'd be glad to come over here. Thank you very much, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mike, for your wonderful message. I want to introduce our next speaker here. The speaker is Abachar Klasinga, the community leader. So come up.
Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek Rising, and I am a Susan Park supporter and also a volunteer for the Senator from her. So, today is an important day, you know, that for the Susan Park is the day that to approach her success and reflect on her accomplishment and think about her future. I just have a conversation with her. She would remind me, you know, because on the first project that we do together, it to improve the food catering policy at this time. Like back then, we have a hard time to bring all the food in, especially our culture. You know, sometimes we need like a boiled chicken, boiled egg, just to use for blessing ceremony, and they don't allow it. But as of today, I think they allow it already. Right? Yeah. This is one of the accomplishments. I know Susan in the year 2018 when I invited her to come to join our New Year celebration. You know. And then by that time, most of our women remember her when she smiled. What a beautiful face is that, right? Did everybody agree with that too? Yeah, give her. And then today, Susan has the intention and sincerity to dedicate herself, run for the Senate. You know, I want to tell you that this is a great opportunity for the community member, especially in Brooklyn Park too. But we have a good person like her and many people that, you know, like the one that we just done is XP. Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of the person. So I have no question that, you know, on your accomplishment. You know, when you serve at the council member, and then you have made this community proud. And now we will support you on your new journey. That you will have a greater successful. As I said, I wish you that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And now introducing our next speaker. He is a Brooklyn Park resident, John Wesler.
I'm not the president. I'm former chair of the Brooklyn Park DFL, but right now I'm serving as a director, and basically what that means, we go out and help campaign for our candidates out here. Susan Pa was one of the first candidates that we got involved with 5.5 years ago, and it was a pleasure campaigning for her. I met a lot of neat and interesting people, but let me tell you why I think she should be elected. But I want to tell you a little story before I do that, and that's Susan was serving on the council. I think this happened a couple of years ago, and there was one of the people that was serving with her as a council person wasn't ever able to become the mayor pro tem, which is kind of it's kind of a sought-out spot to become the mayor pro tem. And finally, there's a choice between one person and another person, and she chose this guy that was probably would not have got that spot, but she decided that she had the extra vote. She helped that gentleman get involved. And the reason I tell you this story is because it's important that we work together, and sometimes we're not always leading the pack. Sometimes we have somebody else leading the council, and it's important that we have that ability to work together. Susan knows her stuff. She reads reports. She understands what's been going on for the last 5 years. She's worked with the state legislature. She's worked with our county commissioners. She's been involved. She knows what's going on. I hope you'll support her, and thank you very much, and take care.
Thank you so much. And now to introduce our next speaker is Tom Chow King, also a resident of Brooklyn Park and the president of Hmong American Leadership Council.
Hello, everyone. And the honors to all the Susan Pa supporters. My name is Tung Chau Kam. I'm the president of Hmong American Leadership Council. We are a non-profit organizations, 501c4 organization established to support candidates running for public office. I'm very happy and excited to be here tonight. I want to thank you, Susan Pa, and her campaign for inviting me and organizations to be part of this special evening. As a community leader in the Hmong American community for the last decade, a local resident, I have seen Susan Pa serve the city of Brooklyn Park with accreditation, pensions, integrated. She is always out in all community and listening to their concern and work with improve the life through the various community and volunteer organizations. Susan Parr is always full energy and had it involved in many activities and cultural events, not just at Brooklyn Park, but all over the Twin City. Just imagines that this intelligence that strong-willed power woman can do for us at the Minnesota State Senate. She is someone whom we can on to fight for us. So let's work together to get her and sit at the table so she can represent all voice and address all concern. We as a voter, we were lucky to have someone like Susan Parr to represent and serve us in our next Minnesota State Senate for District 40. We wish Susan Parr the best and good luck. Have a good night. So I will say some more words because I see a lot of more supporters coming over here too. วันนี้เราผู้ยอประธานตรงเจ้าข้าเอาลูกมองอเมริกันเลยso โรงเชียร์ตัวจีเป็นเจ้า supporter นะเป็นเจ้าย่อโปรแกรมพาร์คเป็นผู้จงเที่ยวเป็นผู้ชี้เจ้าเที่ยวโรงเชียร์ตรงนี้สุดๆตัวมันเป็นตัว support นะสุดสัมภาษณ์กับตัวอีเจ้าเกี่ยวกับยมูรอบรุ่นจงที่สเต็กไซน์ไอ้หายตัวนี้เดี๋ยวไปจะใส่มองว่าเป็นสิ่งไหนนะไอ้สุดๆตัวไปอยู่ตัว support ตัวจะรู้สึกรอไปจะต้องใส่ควรจะใส่ไปจะมองเป็นสิ่งนอกไปหล่อย่อเขารู้สึกในส่วนไหนไปปอกมองต่อดู有的被叫你叫及时的被走些被有support สุดภาพสุดภาพก็รู้เสียขอ被叫你จีมอง被有 support 被有ตัวชั้นการก็有ลองไว้ดู leader ไว้ดูปอเรา被叫采มอง被叫ดู采มอง有心ดูเราอยากต่อเตะAgain, go to Senator for and fight for Minnesota and the best resident. We're not going to share with Joe. It's in the comment. Thank you.
Thank you to all the speakers who came up tonight. One thing that is among all the speakers is how amazing Susan is. And for those who have known Susan for a while, when she smiles, she looks like she's the most kindest person you've ever met. But she is a fighter. Don't let that face fool you. She is a fighter. She speaks her mind, and she works really hard. And I don't know anybody else who is as busy as she is. And so, I'm just really glad that we have someone like Susan coming in for, this Senate seat. And so, thank you to all the speakers.
for you elected officials to use. The first speaker is going to be a senator representing St. Paul in the Minnesota Senate. He's been a champion of public safety reform. He is an advocate for public education, knowing fully well that public education levels the playing field for everybody. He is one of those people who's been fighting for an increase in affordable housing. And right now, one of his focuses is on making sure that there is a tax relief for lower and middle class workers. Folks, please welcome to the podium, Senator from her.
I'm so excited. Thank you for giving me the honor to go first before all these guys here. Thank you all for your service as well. I'm so excited today. Happy St. Patrick's Day. All of you. And I got my queen as well. When I had my cake off 2 years ago, this year was okay, but 2 years ago, before the pandemic, was large turnout, and then I cannot reciprocate what Susan did for me then. She went up the stage and called all the women, said, "Hey, Senator, those who come to support you are not just our husband, it's us too." And got packed full of women, so I cannot reciprocate that. It meant so much to me, So thank you for doing that. And this morning, when we went to the Senate chamber, my colleague, Senator Chris Eden, said she can't be here today, so she sent her regard and her support. And we were just throw a little humor out there. I said, I'm going to do my best to get Susan elected, so that me and her can play volleyball. We can play a little ball volleyball back and forth. But it's not just physical volleyball, but volleyball based on issue. And I know it's important, Susan will be a great advocate fighting for our frontline worker, our essential worker, fighting for our working families, and especially here, the light rail, the blue. And when she gets, that would be one thing that she would add to her legacy, is to give funding to our light rail. So, and I know that this year we're going to lose Senator Patricia Torres-Ray, and a Latinx, woman who she's retiring. So there's 5 of us who are people of color in the Senate. So she will be leaving, but Susan will be joining on. So we still keep our number as 5. And I'm glad that Susan put on her sign here that diversity is our strength. And I think the other one is inclusion is our superpower. So thank you for sending the message. And you'll be a great addition to the Senate, great addition to our Posse caucus as well. And I know you for a very, very long time when you moved from California and have a karaoke bar in my district. As a matter of fact, I wasn't a state senator then, so I did come and frequent your shop. And I know you moved here, and I know you to be an honest person. You got a great smile, but I think I have a good smile too, but I'm second to you. And you're a hard-working person. Senator Chris Eden, one thing that I can testify for Susan is that her hard work. And so you're a hard-working person. You're a strong mother and a great city council. And now we're going to bring you up here and bring you to the Senate, so you can, help me, and we're going to fight for, our diversity and fight for the people that, get us to office. So thank you very much for letting me speak. So one cheer to Susan, okay? All right, so what should we say? Go Paco? Yeah. All right. Go Paco. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go Paco! Go Paco! Go Paco! Go Paco! Go Paco! Go Paco! That's good.
The next is going to be, of course, former mayor. I still call him mayor because I still remember the good times as mayor of Brooklyn Park. And I, as a Liberian living in Brooklyn Park, and the interactions, that this is somebody who did not see the mayoral position as a powerful position. He saw it as a chance to meet other people where they were at and learn and see what blinders he had and how he would help other people. So, Commissioner Lundy, my fellow teacher, you're next.
Thank you. So I've had the honor of serving with Councilmember Pa, future Senator Pa, and I can attest to how much she likes to fight, how hard she works. I was going to ask her husband, have you ever won an argument with her? Because I haven't. You're a husband, we never do. So, but I think of all the things, as I was thinking about what has Susan done, and you know, COVID started a couple years ago. It seems like 20 years ago in COVID time. But when we didn't know if food was going to be in the grocery stores, Susan was there to make sure our food shelves were receiving money. When our businesses were closing and people couldn't make a living and people were being laid off, Susan was there, making sure that we were getting aid to them. When people were worried about vaccines, are people going to know about it? Are they going to get the vaccine? Susan was there. When I was a commissioner, we worked on the anti-hate initiative. Susan was there. When Huntington needed money to save it from a for-profit entity that would take it and probably drive the residents out of there, Susan was there. If you see a pattern, where people have needed, Susan is always there. And so I just want to say how impressed I am, how hopeful I am, because I know that with Susan in the State Senate, she will be there when we need her for the things that will come up. And so with that, I'll just wish her good luck, and I will be there every step of the way to support you. Thank you.
Thank you. And then now to the council member from Brooklyn Center, Dan Ryan, one of the longest serving council members in Brooklyn Center. He tells you the way he sees it, and I like him for that because he will work with you, but it will also challenge your thought process, and he's willing to be challenged and everything. And I think that is a hallmark of leadership. So, council member, you're next.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. Great to be here. I'm Dan Ryan, council member, City of Brooklyn Center. Most of all, proudest of the fact that, God willing, if I'm around next year, it will be 50 years I've been in Brooklyn Center. 2 go-rounds. First, I left home my college years, lived away for a while, moved back in 1991 because I wanted to go back to my hometown. And I see in Susan, she's invested in Brooklyn Park and cares about her state enough to take this big step, this often thankless job of going to the legislature. And I commend her for that. I've known Susan for 5 years through my work on the city council, and I've admired her work so very much. And I think that that's just paramount to have people coming out of local government, who know local government so well, because we appreciate how much the state does or doesn't do for our cities. And that's very critical. And you have somebody who's ready to hit the ground running on those critical municipal issues. And I've seen what Susan's done for her city. And in the interest of time, I won't repeat the long litany of all those great things. But I just so much appreciate Susan. I'm so proud to be here. And I'm so grateful to be part of this campaign. And again, it's at St. Patrick's Day. And guess what? I'm Irish. And I think the historical little footnote to that is that early in the colonial period and the early republic, the Irish were considered lower than everybody else. And now we're as much part of the mainstream as everybody. And that's a great model for the Hmong, the Latino, the Liberians, the Kenyans, and everybody else. Because the motto of our republic is, "E pluribus unum," from the many one. Thank you.
So next to speak is going to be a council member from Falcon Heights. This is my own brother, so I want to make sure I cut it short because we'll be here all day. But he's a council member from Falcon Heights. He's been working on affordable housing, not just talking about it, but actually making that work in Falcon Heights, making sure that it's no longer just a dream, but it's actually a reality in Falcon Heights. So he's a leader who talks about stuff and actually walks the walks. But now he's also running for state representative. 66A. So folks, please welcome Yakisa Way.
Thank you so much, Cece, for the amazing introduction. So Susan asked me to speak today. When she asked me, I didn't know what to say, and I still don't know what to say. But I just want to take this opportunity to recognize Susan for all her wonderful work. I actually met Susan for the first time in 2016 when she was running for the city council position for the first time. Now, when she was running, I was also managing another campaign. And the campaign I was managing happened to be a campaign that Susan was also pretty close to as well. And so through that process, I got to know Susan, we got to interact, and I remember going to several events with Susan and seeing just how gregarious she was, how bubbly and inviting she was, and she just had and continues to have an energy that just sucks people in. And so we would go to these events, and then suddenly I would look over, and there would be a huge crowd around Susan, you know, just talking up a storm, and people were just intrigued and just wanted to listen, just wanted to be in her presence. And I think that's the sort of energy that we need in the state legislation, or the legislature. Susan has accumulated several years of experience that I think is going to be so instrumental in passing legislation at the state level that is really, really needed at this particular moment. And I look forward to working with her in the House of Representatives and to continue the fight that she's already started here in Brooklyn Park and scaling that to the state level. So with that being said, everyone, please recognize that Susan is in a very, very competitive race right now. And more than ever, she needs all your support. And Susan, since we became friends, has always been someone that is true to her words, someone who is the most loyal person that I've come to know. And when she told me that I have her support, I never questioned it, and she's come through for me every time. And I've made the same commitment to her, and I will come through every time for her as well, and I call on each of you to do the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So the next person to speak is going to be a representative who is the majority leader. He has been fighting for criminal justice reform. He just stopped labor workers in Minnesota. He's also one of those people who've been asking and seeking for police accountability and working towards making sure that immigrants are seen as people. Folks, please welcome Dan Winkler, representative.
Ryan Winkler.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. So hold on. I'm a teacher, so I got to learn to correct that. So folks, please welcome Representative Ryan Winkler.
So we need partnerships. We need to expand who we're reaching in our politics. We need to be statewide. We need to be metro-wide. We need to be across communities. We need to be across ethnic groups. We need to be across races. We need to be together. Because 3 days ago, I was at an event commemorating 1 year since the hate crime mass shooting in Atlanta. Yesterday, I was in a group of local officials trying to invest in community as a way to prevent crime. And today, I started the morning on a picket line in Minneapolis. And the common thread through all of those events is that at the state level in Minnesota, we are not delivering the results that we need to deliver for the people of this state. We have been in divided government. We have been divided by geography. We have been divided by income, divided by race. We have not been delivering. We're not delivering state aid for kids in schools, and teachers are left with no choice but to strike and try to make a change. We are not able to address stronger hate crimes, the need for stronger hate crimes legislation, and to invest in the kind of community organizations that not only can stop crime from happening, but can create an opportunity for youth and for adults to blossom and to get through this very difficult time. The solution is to elect Susan Powell. The candidates that we put forward who know how to show up and do the work, who are passionate and committed to making the change, and have the humanity to reach out and bring people together, are the people that we need to make the difference. Susan, you are the kind of leader that Minnesota needs right now, because there are so many people, young to old, across the state and across communities, who are counting on us to deliver at the state level. And without the strong kind of grassroots campaign that you're running, without connecting to the people of your community and showing that the work is what matters, we will not be successful. This is a very hard time for a lot of people right now. A lot of people are counting on all of us to show leadership, to make progress, to make a difference, and to bring out the best that is across all of our communities. Your campaign represents that, and I'm proud to be here to help you in that.
And one thing I forgot to mention, the Luca is running for, I made too many mistakes. He's running for Hennepin County Attorney also. So please remember that. Now I just want, Susan, if you could come on stage, please, because we want to have a picture with you and the elected.
You can tell he's my political director because he's the one that knows all the good shots.
Thank you very much. So, before I turn the mic over, though, I just want to recognize that while this was going on, one of our true heroes in our community just walked in. She's also running for office, so we just wanted you all to know, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, and hopefully we'll give you some time to speak as the time goes on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Cece. Thank you to all our speakers. The next person to come up on stage is an amazing woman as well. She is our strategy advisor. So can we have Bonnie come up? Bonnie Jr.
Well, I didn't trip so far, so that's so Kristen Eaton is a very dear friend of mine, and when she decided she was going to retire, I think all of us in our little group, we all said Susan right away, and we were so excited that she was willing to take up that mantle. And I've known Susan, people have talked a lot about, this is a hard act to follow, but people have talked a lot about her service on the council and things like that, and I want to talk more about Susan as a friend. And I've known her for many years, but just in the last few months I've gotten to know her much more. There's alerts tonight. There's must be kids missing. I've gotten to know her very well and spent a lot of time with her, and I was honored that she asked me to join her campaign, and more honored that she asked me to introduce her tonight. So I just want to say that I've gotten to know her as she's probably the most generous, kind, genuine person I've ever met in my life. And, you know, a lot of people will talk the talk, but she walks the walk, and she is very genuine. When I watched her interact with people she doesn't even know, and she is so warm that people just automatically are drawn to her. And I think that's a quality that's very hard to find in that genuineness in somebody running for office. She's the Energizer Bunny. Someone talked about how she sucks you in, which she really does. And I'm the opposite end of that. So sometimes when I go to her house and she's putting out food and she's talking to the volunteers and she's on 2 phones and it just, sometimes I just say, Susan, you're making me anxious. You said you liked my honesty, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I love you just the way you are.
So, and she gets my sense of humor and enjoys it, so that's a plus. So the last thing to say, and I also wanted to say that even though she has that effect on people, she's no pushover, like somebody said before. She's very, very strong-willed, and she's very open about sticking up for her beliefs, and she's not easily intimidated by people who try to bully her. And I've seen that as well, and that's very impressive. So the last thing I would say is that she has a servant's heart and the strength of a warrior. Susan Pa.
I love this woman who introduced me, Bonnie Jude. It was funny because we were on a team meeting, I think on Zoom, and we were talking about our New Year's resolution. She's going to hate me for sharing this. This is like the 3rd time I've shared it, but she said she was going to make some changes, and I said, don't change anything. I love you just the way you are. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I could not do the work that I've done in this community the last 5-6 years, and I would never have thought about running for state senate if I did not have the support of all of you and the people here in this city, in this district. Your support means so much to me, and 10 years ago, I would never have thought that I would be here today, starting this journey, running for Senate, because back then I was a mom, a busy mom with young children. I was running my business, volunteering in the community. People know me to be kind of the first one to say, oh, I'll help with that. And so I was busy running around doing stuff. But I never thought about politics for myself. I just never did. Because I just wanted to make a difference. And I was already working with young girls and with young women and helping them and mentor and helping women start businesses. And so that was good for me. But it wasn't until I started doing more and more that I realized that I was running into all these barriers and challenges that is caused by the systems that are in place. And until we change those systems, things will never improve. And I got frustrated. I started talking to people. And the people I talked to to try and change these systems, they were never as passionate as I was about it. They were never willing to fight as hard as I was willing to fight for it. And so that was the day that I decided, someday I want to make a change. I got to change that. And 6 years ago, my husband, when I was sitting on the couch with him, complaining about something that I read in the newspaper, and he says what he always does, which I totally hate, is he says, stop complaining and do something about it. And I looked over at him, I gave him a really bad look, a really nasty look, and I said to him, really, honey? but that was the moment that he implanted that in my mind and said, you do something about it. And that was when I started thinking, why not? Why not? Why can't I run for office? Why wouldn't I run for office? I'm tired of lobbying and talking to all these people that are policymakers to try and make a change when I could be at that seat and try to make that same change. I will fight harder. I will work harder. And that was the day I ran for city council. I won my first election. Hooray! And then since then, I've won a re-election. And now, Senator Christine has retired, and she says, Susan, you must run for my seat. I cannot think of a better person in this district that could do a good job representing this district and truly care and willing to work with everybody to make things happen here in our district and throughout the state of Minnesota. So you have to run, and I said to her, well, it's hard to fill your shoes, one, and then two, is as long as you let me call you at 2 o'clock in the morning when I have questions, then I'll run. And she said, you can call me anytime. So I decided, why not? There are things that I'm doing here at the city level, things that I have done in collaboration and working with Commissioner Lundy. Is Commissioner Lundy still here? All right, Commissioner Lundy used to be Mayor Lundy and very missed, by the way. But working with him, we have accomplished so much. And being on the council these last 5 years has just strengthened my belief that with the right people in office, with people who truly listens to the people that they represent, we can make real changes. We can really improve the lives of people and families. And so it has only strengthened my belief that I cannot stop. There's more that I can do at the state level than I can do here. And I would love that opportunity if people in my district see fit for me to represent them and to fight for them at the state. I'd be happy to do that. So I'm excited about this new journey, and I hope that you will continue to be on this journey with me and all of the people in our district. So I don't know why I even bothered to write a speech, because usually it turns out like this, where I cross it all off and I write something else. I work on it for days and then I just end up crossing them all out at the last minute. But here I'm going to try to read my notes here with all this chicken scratch. I just want to say that we can do more. We can do more, and we can accomplish more when we work together. And when we work as a group and as a whole entire community. Not only that, but there has to be more opportunities for people than there are barriers. And how are we going to make that happen? It only happens when we work together to make sure that we look at those challenges, those barriers that are ingrained in our systems and change those things. I have four children. I added a daughter-in-law this year, or last year. So I've got 5 children now, and I'm hoping to be a grandma soon. So hurry up, because I want to be a grandma. I could win this campaign with a grandchild next to me, okay? So, but I want to be a grandma. But the thing is this, we fight. Why do we fight? We fight for our children's future. We fight to make sure that we build a better world for our children. And that means that we have to make sure we educate our children, that we have to make sure we have quality education for them, affordable college tuition for our young adults, and that we make sure that we take care of their environment for generations to come. But the other thing too is we have seniors right now that I'm talking to that instead of enjoying their retirement, they're worried about how they're going to pay for their prescriptions, how they're going to pay for the health care that they need. That's not okay, right? So we have to do some things to change things here. I share many of your hopes and dreams for yourselves and your family and for our district and for the whole entire state of Minnesota. But I know we can accomplish them together. I'm proud of the things that I've accomplished here on the City Council, but there's so much more to do. And I could not have done that work without our Commissioner Lundy, who used to be our mayor, without the City Council that's right now in Brooklyn Park. But I've worked in Brooklyn Center. I've worked with Councilmember Dan Ryan. I've worked with all our council members there. I've worked with all the organizations that we have that we combine together to work in both cities. And so I know the struggles that we're going through as a city. I understand what's going on here. And I think we need someone who truly understands, who's been in our community, who's worked in our community, to represent us at the state. So I hope that you will continue to support me, that you will bring out your families, your friends, people you know in this district out to support. Because we need everybody's vote, right? So I want to end by saying thank you so much to everyone for coming. I want to thank Senator Chris Eaton for her leadership in this district. I'm sorry to see her retire. She's a great senator for our district and has done so much here. I want to thank Tim, our former Brooklyn Center Mayor, Tim Wilson as well. He's been a great supporter. I want to thank all the elected officials tonight, all of you for coming. I really, truly appreciate this. And I appreciate the work that we've done together. I want to thank our guest speakers, my wonderful MC, who's actually my best girlfriend, who I talked into doing the MC tonight. And then we're going to be having performers, so stay, because we've got fantastic performers tonight. And then we've got a dinner, so they're going to be performing while we eat. I want to thank all the performers for taking the time out today to come and entertain us. And then our media people who are here, thank you so much. And then also to our photographer, videographer for our campaign, Jessica. There we go. Jessica is a very talented artist, I want to say, because she puts together some of the most beautiful videos. And I'm so lucky that we have her on our campaign. And then last but not least, I want to thank my campaign manager, who is the absolute most wonderful woman in the entire world. I was going to try and get a t-shirt made that says World's Best Campaign Manager, but they didn't have anything online. I guess they must not have that many World's Best Campaign Managers. But she really is. She is a great friend, and also just someone who's just as passionate as I am about things here in our district. Thank you to all the volunteers and everybody for coming out tonight. And then, of course, my kids, my nieces and nephews who also came out. And most of all, my husband for putting up with me. Can you believe this guy actually told me to run for Senate? I just thought he would have just said quit. I would have thought by now he would have said, okay, it's time for you to retire, honey. But no, he's like, no, you gotta run. And so I'm like, okay, you're asking for it. So thank you everyone for tonight, and please stay longer for our program.
Okay, that was an amazing speech by Susan. She was not kidding when she said that she talked me into doing this. It was late last night, and she called me and she's like, can you MC for my event tomorrow? I was like, you know I don't MC. But that's the power of Susan Potts.
But isn't she great?
She talks you into doing things you don't want to do, but you happen to do it anyway. So before we start dinner and entertainment, I want to call another person up, Major Duana Witt. If you can come up and say please.
Greetings. My name is Duana Witt. I'm currently one of the majors at the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. I oversee our courts and our jail there. And I recently announced that I am running for Hennepin County Sheriff. Something to note, there's never been an elected female sheriff in the state of Minnesota either. I plan to be the first one. There are a lot of things that Susan said that I can resonate with. I did not see myself running 6 months ago. I did not see myself in this position 30 years ago. I am a mother of 2 adult children. I have 2 grandchildren. Susan is the best thing in the world. I wish my mini was up here with me now. So if you need somebody to help you, I'll vote. But But the reasons why I didn't see myself in this position, I am originally from Chicago. I grew up in South Minneapolis. The environment I grew up in was not a very nurturing environment. It was not one where education was something that was valued. So a very tough childhood, if you will. I became a mother at 15. And, while everybody was telling me what I couldn't do, I refused to be another statistic. I pushed my way through high school, graduated with honors, captain of the basketball team, South High graduate here. I don't know if there's any Tigers in this camp. Okay, there we go. But, and then got quite a few scholarships to go to college. I chose to go to the College of St. Catherine, where I originally started in the nursing program. And what was interesting is, one, being a mom, and then the scholarships that I had. There was one particular scholarship that meant a lot, and that was the Alan Page Scholarship. I was one of those recipients. And part of for that scholarship was to give back to the community. At that time, as a teen mom, I lived at Riverside Plaza, and the things that I did for volunteer service was I taught English as a second language to the kids that lived in Riverside Plaza, and then I also introduced kids to organized sports for the first time. Knowing what it feels like for people to overlook you and not to take you serious, I knew the sense of team is something that those kids needed. So I went to different high schools, Roosevelt High School, South High School, and said, hey, do you have extra uniforms? Because the kids that I worked with were disadvantaged, low income, and had the world against them. People thinking they would be another statistic. I wanted to teach them what it feels like to be a part of a team, to value working together, and to love themselves. And so I ended up coaching what should have been 1 year. I coached 12 years, I think. And I coached soccer 1 year, but then they wouldn't let me do it after the first year. But so anyhow, what I learned though, what I graduated with from St. Case was a degree in chemical dependency and family therapy. What I learned about myself is I was running away from the challenges that I had as a kid, but yet I wanted to help others so that they didn't have to face the same things that I did. So after going to work for nonprofits, Pillsbury Neighborhood Services and Ruben Lynn Family Services, working with other families that had chemical dependency issues and were also in the system like child protection. I was a family worker trying to get kids reunited in the communities that they were in and then bring their families together. It's a terrible feeling coming from a broken home, and I felt it was my job to try to help other kids not know what that feels like. Well, this is not the uniform of a social worker, now is it? This was an accident, is what I would tell people. Because I did not see myself in law enforcement because I came from a community where you didn't trust law enforcement. You really didn't like them. And I can't say that it was because of what people were telling me. It was my own lived experiences. Well, one day I went on a tour of the Hennepin County Jail back in 1999. And when I was having that tour, they said how they needed more women in the field, specifically women of color. So I was like, okay, I'll fill out the application, but I thought there's no way, after knowing my background, that they would take somebody like me. They did. And then I started working in the jail as a detention deputy. And to me, at that age in my life, I didn't see detention deputy being the same as law enforcement. That was different. Well, it was there that I started working with more law enforcement people and getting to know them as people behind the badge. That motivated me to say, you know what, you can do that too. So as one, a black, woman in law enforcement with my background, and now almost 23 years in this field, I learned a lot about myself. I believe God puts you places where you're supposed to be. I learned my purpose, and my purpose was to change the system from the inside out. When we're talking about restructuring and changing the system, we need different lenses and different experiences to do that. And you need people at the table who are not just at the table, but willing to speak up about different lived experiences. I see myself as somebody who inspires others. And it has not been an easy road. But again, like I said, I learned my purpose. And I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. My platform as running for Hennepin County Sheriff will be 1, public safety. Combating the violent crime that we're seeing out there that's so rampant. 2, something dear to my heart, is jail reform. 98% of the people that go to jails are released back into the community. And we're not talking about the last 2 years, but jails are pretrial facilities. We have their attention there. We should have more programs. And 3, collaboration. Not just sitting with people who think like me, who've been through the same things I have, but people who are actually going to challenge me so that I can have a holistic view of what we need as a county. So again, it's DeWanna Witt. I am not happy I was the one to stop people from eating, but DeWanna Witt, and I hope to see and talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much, Laura. What an amazing speech. I could totally feel all the energy and power in this room. All the speakers who came up and shared their stories and experience about themselves, and then about their, just their engagement with Susan. So it's amazing. Next, it is dinner time. I just want to mention that we have food over here, and then also, if anybody is wondering where the restroom is, we do have men and women restroom on this side. So at this time, we will go ahead and part for dinner, and then we will also have entertainment happening at the same time while they're eating too. So I think if we can start off from this end first, the first couple of tables on this side, can start there,